In this video, we're going to be going over why Noob Saibot is incredibly broken and overpowered in Mortal Kombat Trilogy for the N64. Now, if you played the other versions, whether it be the PlayStation 1, the PC one, the version for the other console, you need to keep in mind that there are differences in gameplay and general game mechanics, and it even goes as far as characters have different properties depending which game you're playing. So keep in mind this video is going to specifically focus on the Mortal Kombat Trilogy and N64 version of Noob Saibot, because there are differences in the other versions. But we'll get to the PC and the other console ones eventually, because I do have most of them, so I do plan on making videos on those as well. Let's just for now focus on this version, Noob Saibot. But just a quick example, Rain, for example, N64 version Rain is nerfed. His lightning attack is not as good as it is if you were to play it on PC or the PS1 version, where the move is 10 times better than it is in the N64 one. So please keep that stuff in mind. With that said, let's go on to explain why Noob Saibot is insanely broken in this game. So to start things off, we'll go over his normals. He's got your typical male ninja normals. He's got really good roundhouse, good high kick, solid sweep, very good jabs, good crouching low kick. But the normals aren't the reason why Noob Saibot is very broken. See, Noob Saibot has 3 special moves in this game, and all 3 of them are incredibly broken. Every single one of them is the reason. Them being together is why he's broken. So let's first start off with, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with this, if you guys haven't paid too much about Mortal Kombat Trilogy, you've probably seen maybe past videos or tidbits in the past about this game, where his teleport slam, which is this this teleport, that is punishable and blocked. But the thing is, if this teleport hits you, it launches you up in the air. And what you can do is, you can basically repeat this over and over until your opponent dies. So if you end up getting hit by this attack from Noob Saibot, you're pretty much dead, because he's going to put you in 100% juggle until you die. Now here's the thing, you could be saying, well, you know, you could just block it, he's unsafe. Keep in mind it has a massive air hitbox, so if you're anywhere in the air, it's going to grab you, it's going to anti-air you and slam you into the ground. But to go back to my previous point, you could be like, well, you know, we played other games before where characters have 100% combos. It's done before, you know, you just gotta play extra safe, make sure you don't jump, make sure you don't get hit by a random teleport, punish it. Here's the thing, Noob can chain this off in anti-air. You jump at him, anti-air punches you into teleport, you're dead. If you decide to throw a projectile at the wrong time and he teleports, you're also getting slammed and now you're dead. But the thing is, this makes Noob's damage and combos broken. We're gonna get into his next specials. That is the reason. Everything together is why Noob Saibot is insanely broken. He's so broken to the point where I think if you were to play this game like in a tournament, if you were to host a tournament for this game or try to play it seriously with people, I think you should just ban Noob, because he's way too overpowered. It's kind of a similar thing to, if I had to compare him to anyone, it'd be like a Kuma from ST. The character is just beyond better than everybody else, which is kind of sad, because if it wasn't for Noob Saibot in N64 specifically, because these other versions have a lot more balance issues when it comes to other characters like the bosses and the MK1 characters that were included. N64 version thankfully doesn't have all that stuff. Really, the only problem character in this game is Noob Saibot. So unfortunately, he's the only main issue with the game. I consider him to be like double S tier plus, because he's way beyond the other characters. The other characters in the game, there's a lot of strong characters in this game, but Noob is just beyond all of them to the point where no character can really compete against him. I mean, maybe you could use Jade, because Jade has the projectile invincibility glow, which you could use, but even so, it would still be a terrible matchup because of how careful she would have to play. But anyway, besides all that, getting into his next special moves. So his next special move is an attack called the Sabler. And this move is pretty ridiculous. First of all, it's a pretty fast projectile attack that also does chip for some reason. And it's a mid attack, so unlike a lot of projectiles in this game, which you can just duck under them because they're highs, Noob's Disabler is a mid. And when it hits you, as you can see, it puts you in this debuff state. Now you're probably asking, what does this debuff state do? This debuff state does a lot of things. It does 4 different things. When you're hit by his Disabler and you're put in this state, your throwing hitbox is disabled. So when you're in this, you cannot throw people. So if I were to, I wish I could show you guys a way for me to be put into Disabler state. Maybe there's a way. Okay, perfect. I could do that. I forgot I could do that. So this game has a mechanic where it's like the Sub-Zero double freeze mechanic. If you try to freeze somebody and then freeze them again, it'll freeze you. I guess this was their way of preventing easy infinites back then, even though it doesn't make any sense because this is in the game. But anyway, just to show you guys, if I try to throw, my throwing is disabled. I cannot throw you. So your throwing is removed. Another thing it does is if you're in Disabler state, it disables your specials. So now I can't do special moves. So for example, I'll try to teleport with Noob. Cannot do that, cannot do another Disabler until the debuff wears off. So not only does it remove the ability for you to throw, it removes your ability to do any special moves, but it also removes all hitboxes from your attack. So now you can physically, I cannot hit my opponent with any attack if I have this debuff. So nothing I can do can hit them. Can't anti-air them, can't use any specials, can't sweep them. You're basically stuck there doing nothing. Now you're probably gonna say, well, damn, I guess, you gotta wither the storm and wait there and just block and, hope it goes away. Well, guess what? The 4th thing this move does is it disables you from blocking. So even though your character goes into the block animation, you actually can't block. So if I have Cabal here blocking, my attacks literally go through him. So basically, you get hit by Disabler, you might as well just drop the controller and wait until the debuff goes away, because it doesn't matter if you're there with the controller trying to play or not, you can't do anything. You're just stuck there. No specials, no blocking, no throwing, and no attacks or hitting your opponent because your hitbox are all disabled. So this move is insanely broken. This hits you, you're pretty much dead. Now you're probably thinking, okay, I get hit by Disabler, I'm gonna sit there and duck. At least I can't get hit by the teleport, right? To get launched, to go into 100%. Now before we go into his 3rd special move, let's first talk really quickly about Noob's unique strings. Every character in this game has unique strings. Now it's true, Noob does not have a high launcher on many characters because some characters can duck his high punch up close. So if you're playing some characters that have smaller hurt boxes than other, Noob is not going to be able to launch you, right? Because his 2 strings are this. He has a launcher string, which if you get hit by that, goes into his 100% combo, and then he has his mid string attack is just 4 mid-hit attacks. So just 23% knocks you away. It's not a big deal. So you could be saying, okay, if you get hit by the Disabler, the strategy is just sit there and duck, because I'm not going to get hit by the teleport, and I'm going to evade his high punch, right? Well, here's where his 3rd special move comes into play. His 3rd special move is called the Running Shadow Attack. Now, this move is incredibly broken. It's one of the most broken special moves in this game, because it's a 1-frame startup projectile attack, which is also a mid, like his Disabler, so it cannot be ducked, and when you get hit by this unreactable 1-frame projectile attack that's running at you, it's a launcher, which means if you get hit by Disabler, you sit here to avoid his teleport, he can just do that. So either way, you're getting launched. And when this hits you, you go into his teleport here. If I can show you guys really quickly. It's actually a lot easier than it looks. There we go. It's not hard. I mean, if you want to do the easy way, I guess you could just walk back, anti-air jab, go into that. Either way, if someone were to play this character even at a basic level, they would be very easily landing this off the teleport and killing you. So let's talk about his Running Shadow a little bit more, because this move is absolutely insane how it is. Now, the way the move works is its properties are kind of weird. It kind of functions as like a throw attack. And for those of you that have played the 2D MKs, you can't throw people in the air. People are in the air, I'll try and throw. You can see that like my throw doesn't come out. They have to be grounded for the throw to work. So this property also applies to his running shadow projectile, because it counts as a throw in a way. So if you go in the air, it will not catch you, as you can see. It can be avoided. You have to be grounded for it to hit you. So in a way, you could say, well, you know, if this move hits you, the mix-up would be jump if he does that, and then try to stay grounded if he does that. The problem is, because the shadow attack is so quick and unreactable, and it has barely any recovery at all, you could basically throw the shadow and then teleport at the same time. So it doesn't matter if you stay on the ground or jump. Either way, there are two things coming at you. There's his running shadow attack that's coming at you on the ground, and he's teleporting at the same time. So either way, you're screwed. So Noob Saibot, in this game, is not only broken because he can 100% you when he hits you with a launcher, but the fact that he also has two incredibly broken special moves that are absurd, and characters in this game are not equipped to handle them. For example, this move is so insane, I can't repeat enough, that having a one-frame mid-projectile attack does so much in this game. For example, if you try to sweep Noob, well, guess what? He blocks it. You're going to get punished by this running shadow because of how quick it is. He blocks your sweep, you get full combo, dead. You go to do a high kick or low kick, he blocks it, you're dead, punished. You do an unsafe move, he's rushing you down, you randomly get hit by this move because it's unreactable and comes out the speed of light, you're dead. So this character, basically, you can't really play against him. He's just too broken. So the best thing to do, honestly, I mean, look, I'm gonna be realistic with you guys. If they do add this game on the Legacy Collection, everybody and their mom is probably going to be playing Noob Saibot in ranked, trying to beat you, and she's at wins, which, unfortunately, that's one of the downsides of this game. You can't really regulate that. Like, the only way... It's sad how this made it into the game, because in my opinion, a way to fix Noob in this game would be so simple. You would just make it so he can only teleport slam you once per combo, and that's it. Because if you think about it, the way that it seems that Noob was supposed to be in this game by design, if they had patches back then, was... The way that they designed them was that it seems like they wanted to go out of their way to give him 3 insanely absurd projectiles. I guess so, not so much as teleport slam. If it only were to work once in per combo, you'd only get 1 launch, because you would just end in disable or whatever. You could do a quick... But it seems like Noob, original design, not counting the infinite, was supposed to be this character that has access to these incredibly strong special moves, but the downside is he doesn't do a lot of damage, because look, if I were to do this, go into a combo or end in disable, you're doing like barely 20%, but you're putting your opponent in this terrible state where now you can come in and try to hit them or go for the teleport or running shadow, and then get another setup where you can go for another 50% combo. So it seems like his original design was to try and enforce these powerful special moves that would put the opponent into a debuff, make them deal with it, and then basically kill your opponent by doing a lot of cuts with these ridiculous special moves. So it's sad that if we do end up getting the N64 version for the Legacy Collection, yes, Noob is going to be very insanely broken, because I don't think they're going to be doing any kind of balance changes, which, I mean, as they shouldn't, right? They're releasing Legacy Collection. People want to play the games as they were when they were released on arcade or console or whatever, right? It wouldn't make... But, you know, it would be interesting that if they do, for whatever reason, decide to include slight balance changes, I think they would have to make it so, if they did do that, make it so we would be able to choose our version, where if we want to play with the new version of changed UMK3 or changed MK2, whatever modernized changes they include, they would have to include us being able to play the classic unchanged versions with gameplay, where if we want to play classic UMK3, non-modernized balanced, we need that option to go back. Because the thing is, once you start changing older games like this, the audience around these older games like the games for how they are and how they play. If they were to change the gameplay, you're gonna make a lot of people either not interested or want to play the older versions that's not in this collection, because they may not agree with what changes were done to the games that they've been playing for decades at this point, right? So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, let's close it off, this video, with all the stuff I said about Noob Saibot. This pretty much explains for you guys that, because I know a lot of people didn't play N64 version Trilogy, on why exactly it is this character is very broken, and why he's so overpowered and way beyond the other characters. Because when it comes down to it, the tier list, Noob Saibot, I would say he's double S tier plus, and the other characters, the next tier would start at S and below. So Noob Saibot is far and beyond the other characters, while they're all S and below. They're around each other and they can fight each other. Noob Saibot just cannot really play against him with how broken he is. You would have to play him without specials, which is, at that point, it's better to just ban the character. But with that said, let's finish the video here. I appreciate you guys for watching this. Stay tuned, because I'm going to have a lot of videos breaking down a lot of the older 2D Mortal Kombat characters and a lot of the 3D MK characters, and explaining to you guys what their playstyles were, why they're broken, how to use them, and maybe you guys will figure out, for those of you that never played them, maybe you guys will find a character you enjoy, and that will be end up the character you come across playing when the version are released. That said, I'm going to end the video here, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.